Yo, what's good everyone? Welcome back to another video. And today we're going to be talking about the how much is your course slash program objection handle. Appointment setting objection handling, if you've been in the game for a minute, I've probably run into this a couple times, maybe multiple times. And whenever it comes up, you don't look forward to it because you're like, how am I supposed to answer this? So today we're going to go through some don'ts and some do's, and then ultimately how to actually handle this objection. Because if you don't know how to handle this, then that could be the difference between you getting them on the call and them leaving you on red. So let's get into this. The first thing we're going to go over are don'ts. So don't give into their frame. This is the number one mistake I see people make, not just with this objection, but with any objections in general. Any appointment setting, high ticket closing, they always talk about frame control. And when you're in sales and you're doing what you're doing, you want to keep the frame, right? So don't give into their frame, and what that looks like is directly answering the question. So don't answer directly because they're not in a prone buying state. If they are though, then make the exception. So what I basically mean is if they're ready to go, if they're a hot lead and they make it clear that they're ready to buy, then okay, maybe you can tell them the price of the program. And there's very few exceptions too, so you have to kind of put your emotional intelligence into it. If you're working for an offer where it's just so much lead flow, the guy's massive on social media, tons and tons of hot leads and warm leads, and they're just ready to go, then maybe you can get away with telling the price. But most of the time, I would just refrain from doing that, and I would just, as I say here, get them on the call first. But don't give into their frame. Don't answer their question directly, because when whoever is asking the questions has the frame. Because when you ask a question, someone else is going to give the answer. The other person's going to give an answer. So that's basically what frame is they're controlling the conversation. So don't give into their frame. Don't answer the question directly because they're not in a prone buying state. And then don't book them in straight away, since there's a chance they won't be a good fit and it'll be a waste of time for everyone. So people think, okay, I'll just book them in straight away. I won't do much qualification. I'll skip the questions. I just want to get a meeting in. And I understand because you want to get your commission and you want to do things as fast as you can. But don't book them in straight away because, as I say here, what if the person you're speaking to, they book it on the Calendly, turns out they don't have money to invest, and then it's just a waste of time for the closer, and it's a waste of time for you too. It's a waste of time for the business owner. Excuse me, and it's a waste of time for the prospect. Everyone's time is wasted because you failed to qualify and see if they're actually a good fit to hop on the call in the first place, right? Remember, if your program is so good and your offer is so good, and if you're in this game, you can't help everyone. That's just a given. That's a principle. You can't help every single person. There's just some people, for XYZ reason, you cannot help them. So you need to put your attachment to the money aside and actually see if you can genuinely help them out. And you just can't do that with everyone sometimes. So some do's is hold the frame, get them on the call first, and qualify them first before pitching the call. It doesn't have to be long. You don't have to drag it out. But just a couple questions. It should be in your training already. It should be in your frameworks. Or you should already have your questions in mind and your way of qualifying them. Doesn't matter it does matter what your niche is. Doesn't matter what kind of offer you're on. So you're going to have to tailor it to that. And if you want help with that, then I have a whole playlist on appointment setting 101. So check that out if you're stuck. Well, hold the frame. Be the one asking questions. Be the one directing the conversation, moving it forward to the call. Get them on the call first, and then let the closer do its job, which is close the deal. But also don't get them on the call so fast that they end up being unqualified. Maybe they really can't afford the program, and they're just, or maybe they'd be a really, really bad client to work with. Make sure you qualify them first before pitching the call. So those are some do's. So now we're going to get into my favorite way of handling this objection. And I'm not afraid to show this. I'm not going to hide it. And I have every reason to, because as you know, I'm running my mentorship, or if I was on an offer in the past, or when I was on an offer, people would watch my YouTube and then they'd figure out the source, right? But I'm not afraid of doing it. I just speaking to a prospect today who's potentially interested in the mentorship, he asked me the same question. So this is kind of what inspired the video today. He asked me how much is the course of the program and the mentorship. And if you want to apply, by the way, link in the description, book a call. But I told him, like, look, bro, you know how I am as a setter, ha ha ha, like kind of joking around, but I was kind of being serious. And I was like, it's application only. I can't help everyone. It wouldn't make sense for me to pitch you this course or program if it's not a good fit for you or for me, right? So is it cool if I ask some questions first and just figure out more about your situation? And he was like, yeah, sure. So I held my frame there. This is basically what I say. I say something along the lines of that. I just talk about how it's application only. And we're not lying about these things too. We're being genuine here. If you want to get into a program, if your program's good, right, you can't help everyone, so you have to apply, whether it's booking a call or whatever. So it's application only. Don't even know if we can help you in the first place yet. I need to figure out more about the situation you're working with, and then ask a question back. Take control of the conversation again and ask him a question. Just be like, is it cool if I ask a couple things first to see if this would make sense for you? And you don't have to copy this word for word, bar for bar. You can if you want, but you can have your own lingo. You can kind of twist it to your own, make it your own. But this is kind of the framework that I follow. If this would make sense for us both, or for you. I'd say for you, because us both kind of sounds a bit too bougie, but this has worked a charm for me. You need to try it out. 8 times out of 10, 9 times out of 10 even, they'll not only submit to your frame, they'll actually see the benefit of, so this is a couple things, okay? You take back your frame with doing this. You don't give into their frame, because you're now asking the questions and you're dictating how this conversation, this interaction is gonna go and what's gonna happen after. So that's the first thing it does. The second thing it does is it shows that you genuinely want to see if you can help them out. As I said earlier, people are too attached to the money. They just want to get the commission. They just want to get the new client, the new payment. But down the line, they might end up being a terrible client, and that's just not good for everyone. So you're there to actually genuinely see if you can help them out or not. Because if you can't, then you'll just direct them elsewhere. But if you can, then that's great. But you're there to, like you saying, we don't even know if we can help you out in the first place. That does another thing. It's that buyer-seller dynamic. Any amateur or anyone who's not very good at this, as a salesperson, as an appointment setter, they'll be the seller. They're going to be the one trying to sell reasons why they should work, why they need their money, and why they should be a client. And then turns out that the prospect is the buyer, because now they can decide and they have options, right? But you need to flip it. As much as you want a new client, you want the money coming in, you need to be the buyer. You need to be like, I don't even know if we can help you in the first place, So we don't even know if we can help you in the first place yet. We need to figure out more about the situation you're working with. That's our third thing. Shows that you genuinely care, and you have to genuinely care. This is not going to work if you don't genuinely care about the prospects you're speaking to, right? We need to see if the situation will accommodate for us succeeding together and working together and getting you killer results inside the program. And this will also only work if the program is actually good. If whatever you're selling, whatever you're setting for, actually does work and it's not a scam. All right? So this is with ethical use. So we need to figure out more about the situation you're working with. And then you finish off with a question. Just take back the frame. Is it cool if I ask a couple things first to see if this would make sense for you? And then 9 times out of 10, this works a charm. Another thing that this does is it shows some scarcity. It provides scarcity, because it's like application only. We don't just take everyone on. You get the point, okay? So try this out. You can copy it word for word. And I'm not afraid of showing it. I'm not hiding this. So try this out. Twist it to your own if you want to. But just come up with some sort of version out of this. And remember the principles behind appointment setting and sales objection handling. Hold the frame. Get them on the call first, because the closer's going to work their magic and get them in a buying state. And by buying state, if you take it from a DM, if you try and DM close someone compared to a cold close, the close rate is significantly higher when you get them on a call. Just because, they're on Zoom, they're speaking to hopefully a good closer, they'll ask the right questions, they'll get their emotions, riled up. and then they'll work their magic. But if it's through DM, there's almost no emotion behind that. They can't see what you look like, you can't tell the body language. It's just not as personal. So, and then there's also a lower barrier to entry to just abandon the conversation and leave. It's much easier to leave someone on red as opposed to, leaving a Zoom call. It happens, both of these things happen, but it's way easier to leave someone on red as opposed to leaving a Zoom call. Okay, so a lot of different reasons going behind it. Don't overthink it, but just remember the principles, and then if you want to use this, go ahead and use it. So that is my friends, is how you handle the how much is your core / program objection. Hopefully this helps. And if you have any more questions, if you have any more suggestions as to how to handle certain objections, then you can comment it down below. I'll make a video out of it. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. If you're new to the channel, again, one-on-one mentorship spots is now just still open. There's actually one left for this month, so just gonna go quick, snag it before someone else does. And then, yeah, I'll be opening more soon for next month. And again, I'm not gonna tell you how much it is. You know who I am. So link in the description if you're interested. My Instagram's down below. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.